Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again, Hearts of Iron for the new order. This is gonna be a new campaign. We're gonna be playing as Yunnan, as you can see. Basically, the whole point of the campaign in Yunnan, from what I could tell, is we are a backwater land that's almost kind of independent. Like he's a great nationalist. He's trying to wrest himself free from the sphere of the co-prosperity. But our lands are very, very weak and pathetic compared to everything else, and so we must do our best to actually fix that up. Oh, we can't. We also don't really have much of an economy because we are currently a warlord as well, which makes sense because we're kind of like a backwater whole type of thing. But we're gonna try and do our best to fix that up as soon as possible, right? Ooh, we're illiterate, poor, uneducated, and there's nothing that redeemable about our country right now. What do we even need in our armies? We have one type, so we need anti-tank, infantry, and support. I guess that's the only thing that we can really make. Anti-tank was the infantry. And support. There we go. All our factories are already occupied. And with that, let's start off and see what's up, right? We don't really have much to go off right now. Not much of a reserve of things, but at least our troops have full equipment. So, you know, we've got something going for us, which is nice. Also, we kind of need to modernize and westernize a bit more in order to be able to compete with Japan and China. Without the aid of the capital and below the nose of the Japanese, the people of the Southwest must fend for themselves in the mountains and fields. We have only ourselves to turn for justice, order, and progress, and it is to Luhan to whom we turn. Yeah, so backwater, no one's really there to help us out, and yeah, we gotta fix that up. We gotta fix our economy, we gotta fix our political situation, we gotta make sure our people are wealthier, our people are more educated. There's a lot. You see, we're absolutely illiterate to the bottom of the barrel, and it's still going down. That's how bad it is right now. Same with the poverty. Oh, wait, Spartan ideal? Wait a minute, what? So if we become any more poor, we actually become better? So if everyone is poor, no one is. Is that basically what it is? So maybe it does help to just become absolutely poor. I don't know why it's in here. I would have thought that it would have been all over in here, where people don't really care about wealth in general. But no. Apparently if we become any more poor, we'll actually become better off. So maybe that's a way to fix our situation. Speaking of our situation, and on the southern front of what was once China sits a state most people do not know of. A serene little state, picturesque and mountainous, covered in dense forest that buzz with every variety of life that you can find this side of paradise. See the peasants who tills the land, or who tills the fields, who works the mines and carries tremendous weight on their backs for many miles. Luhan overthrew the foolish nationalistic government in a military coup and has since sought ever closer relations with its two main allies. Within Yunnan are the Yi people, a minority who own most of the land in Yunnan, and of whom Luhan is the rightful leader. Outside of Yunnan, the Yunnan clique answers only to the imperial throne of Japan. By maintaining this balance between the wealthy privileged elite at home and the wealthy mighty overlords abroad, Luhan ensures his own, and by extension Yunnan's safety and security. Despite being what the kind of foolish may label as a warlord, Luhan has very little interest in warring. Indeed, under their leadership, this army has been severely reduced to lower the burden on the budget of the great state of Yunnan, to show the world the peaceful intentions of the splendid realm to the southward, and to ensure no upstart dare to do to Luhan what Luhan did to gain power in the first place. Our wealth is in the soil, of that there is no dispute. We extract, we sell, we harvest, we sell. Others twist the raw material of nature into the wonders of civilization. Let us provide the firmament, but we must not forget our place. An enemy awaits around every corner, even within our borders the enemy waits. We must tread carefully but forcefully. On sure feet we march towards a better future. For Yunnan, for China, for Luhan. Onwards. So that's a great start. Let's go. Let's try and make a better untapped potential. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do. We still also have bandits to deal with. It's gonna be a bit of a slog. And oh, did that even turn worse? I don't know. Our situation is bleak, though. I'll tell you that much. Same with the production. It is not good. At all. Are you export focused, maybe? Where's the economic laws? Export focus. Alright, there it is. This we can't really switch. We can't really switch any of this. I'm hoping maybe in the future we can, like, influence it. And gradually it will switch over to one side or the other. That would be a dream. It would also make the system a bit more complex and dynamic, as well as more, you know, real. And it makes you feel like you have control over your own state. And where if you were to push too hard, things would go to the opposite direction, or there'd be a lot of pushback. So slow and steady would win the race, or you can quicken the pace and risk some unrest or whatever. But those would be worse for later. Alright, this folk's almost done. Also, I've been wanting to talk about a little something. I've already addressed it in one of my other campaigns, but I feel like this is my big boy campaign. TNO is my bread and butter right now. I love doing it, so... And I think it shows. People mostly tune in for my TNO campaigns. So yeah. What I wanted to talk about, remember back in my Republic of China campaign, I fell in love with the writing. Whoever did that is an amazing writer, and I hope that they write some novels or books or whatever so I can read them even more. And I also fell in love with the Cheetah campaign. The story was absolutely beautiful and wholesome in a weird sense of way. It's like a coming of age story, and I wanted to write a book of my own. At first my idea was, hey, let me just in the future I'll start up a stream, and together with the chat we will come up with a theme, we will come up with characters, we will come up with you know, a plot, you know, everything. We'll just write the basics of a story like that, and then I'll in my own time flesh it out completely, and you know, then we'll see what we do from there, because obviously writing complete stories a lot of work in general. Which brings me to my next point. I actually have started to write a book of my own, because I figured, you know what, let's put my money where my mouth is, right? Let's see if I can actually do it on my own in the first place. So I started writing a bit of a book, bit of an adventure that turns into horror or something along those lines, and it's going quite well, I'd say. I'm about a fourth of the way there, I think. Bordering on half of the way there in a week or two maybe, and I'm thinking maybe it's gonna be done by November, somewhere start to mid-November. And I'm thinking, you know what, I'm gonna probably put it on Amazon, because it's a fuckload of work, so I figured you might as well put it up there so that people can actually read it. So yeah, with this I would like to announce it to the people who would be interested. I'll, you know, once I do release it, once it's all done, I will obviously address it again. I might even read like a first chapter or something together if there's interest in that, and see what that's like, right? So I just wanted to give a little bit of a heads up that yes, I am writing a book. It's gonna be great, at least I hope so. Let's upgrade this guy. There we go. And so, you know, if anyone is interested, you're more than welcome to read it in the future once it's done. And it will give you like maybe bit of a heads up on what you can expect when we, well, me and you, the viewer / the people who are going to be participating in that stream that I'm going to be doing in the future, how it will be like to write a book, what you can kind of expect from my writing, I guess. But anyway, let's get back into the game itself, right? Minerals for those who can pay. Yunnan has been blessed with an abundance of resources lying within the ground, and cursed with a drought of cash with which to access it. A newly discovered deposit may send investors scurrying to Luhan, gain his favor, and slander their opponents, but in the end Luhan must accept payments from where the capital flows, so long as it does flow. Alright. We're attempting... Oh, this will begin, oh, a long campaign to root out the bandits. Do you actually have a focus tree? No, you do not. Xi Jinping. It's unfortunate that every day Xi Jinping controls the Gozer seems to be coming closer to its end. The military is practically controlled by Yunnan, and its economy is hanging by a thread. Most has expected that he, as one of Chiang Kai-shek's right-hand man, to take an important role in the governance of China, and his shrewdness only supported this. Of course, few expected the Sino-Japanese War, and all its fierce terror, to render the old Kuomintang dead and Wang Jingwei ascendant, least of all Jinping, after defecting in the last few days of the war. Interesting. Let's hope everything goes well, though. I'm thinking this guy might go insane. Right? At some point. Because if I remember correctly, in my China campaign, I ended up having to fight Yunnan. So I don't know if it's him or if there's like a choice to even be sane. And depending on what you go for. Because I think he, you know... He'll try to fight off the Japanese or something, or the Chinese rather. So I'm curious in how it's gonna turn out. There we go, a new finding of tin, an archaeological project being undertaken by all three members of the Kunming Antiquarian Society has been attempted to uncover an ancient village that was burned down during the Taiping Rebellion. Earlier efforts have been promising. Already enough sherds to fill a wheelbarrow have been uncovered, and the foundation of a large stone house have made them very excited. Far more impressively, an agent of ours has relayed that three antiquarians have accidentally discovered a very promising vein of tin. A surveyor dispatched for Kunming has written back explaining that not only did he have found a single promising vein, but that the whole local area is dotted with veins and outcroppings, which suggests that this is the ideal place to begin a whole complex of mines. Tin is one of our biggest exports already, and building up our raw material extraction can only bring good things into this great state. Mineral wealth is the wealth of the kings, it is the wealth of the gods, and it shall be the wealth of Yunnan. We were fully prepared to seize it from its current owners when we were pleasantly surprised to learn that the site already belongs to the government. You must merely decide what to do with it. Alright, so yeah. My boy Luhan is a very good boy. He was about to... Alright. Yunnan is a great province, perhaps even the greatest in all of China. The peasant toil, the sources flow, the money comes in. With great wealth, however, comes great envy. Miscreants and vagabonds unwilling to pick up the shovel and work for honest breadcrumbs have taken up banditry. They prowl the cities like great cats, hunting down carriages and convoys weighted with money. They already struck several times in the past month. Honest landlords can't even make a trip to their slave plantations for fear of being robbed and kidnapped. It is clear that something must be done, and Luhan, or more accurately his small army, is just the man to do it. As the anti-bandit operation progresses, we will receive occasional events detailing success of our raid. Interesting. The bidding begins. News moves slowly in Yunnan. An instruction can be spent to a provincial office and they can spend weeks deliberating their answer before sending it back. It can take months for couriers to carry messages from the sticks to the halls of the power. A cousin of the Minister for Financial Affairs insisted that she found a village in the south that still thought Chuan Shikai was the emperor. So when 20 communiques are received in one day, the office goes into a bit of a panic. It seems everyone wants to get their hands on our tin. Tin for bronze, tin for canned food, goods, tin for all of the sphere flowing from Yunnan. We thought we'd make a little bit of money. Well, we're not. We're going to be making a tremendous amount of money. Early estimates have already been exceeded. The advantage we have right now is that this is a secret auction. None of the interested parties making the bids know how much everyone else is also bidding. This is going to spread like wildfire in the last... wildfire we had last year. Only we won't have to cover this one up. Yeah, Luhan sounds like an amazing boy. So, a nudge in the right direction. There's a bet in the office as to who's going to get the contract. Zaibatsus have most capital but the least interest. The reorganized government wants to build up Chinese industries with Chinese resources, and they may well seek a symbolic victory over our mutual masters. The best odds are neither of these two, but one of the perennial favorite. The locals, cabal of Yi landowners keen to maintain their hegemony over Yunnan land industry, are scrambling to pull enough resources together to compete with the big boys. This auction doesn't need to be left up to chance. We can put a thumb on the scales. After all, only we know what the bids are. We could favor our own people, ensuring that the great state of Yunnan will be made even greater. Yeah, I like that. Favor the Yi landlords. Feeding our own hand. No man becomes rich by giving things away. As it is for men, so it is for the state as great as Yunnan. The wealthy hands of Nanjing and Tokyo are grasping at our trousers, but our pockets belong to our own hands. Thank you very much. The landowners, whom are a very much important part of our society, have expressed their interest in our tin reserve. They may come together in a bit of a cabal to put towards a serious bid on the site. Their efforts are laudable, as well as most certainly patriotic, but they're not exactly up to scratch. However plucky our local landlords may be, they just don't have the resources to compete with the great corporations of Japan or the vested interest of reorganized government. Even putting their slaves on the table, they can't meet half of the biggest offer we've got from abroad. Then again, only we know that. We're going to ensure that our investors get the land. They deserve it. They've been hard-working landowners and slave traders who make the country work. It is our noble obligation as their government to protect them and their interests from foreign interference, even if the interference is legal and purely economic. Furthermore, while both the reorganized government and Japanese would simply pay us a lump sum, then extract as much wealth as they can, physically get and stash it in their treasuries, this way the wealth will rip from the earth, will circulate inside Yunnan for much, much longer. We are nothing if not a state that works, a worker state, and like all workers, we simply want to keep as much of our earnings as we can. Furthermore, if we make it purely domestic venture, we can waive all those pesky regulations and high wages and ensure that the local government villagers have something to do all day. Hell yeah. The Rising Sun. Geez, so many events this time. More than average. The stoic mountains of Yunnan are a solid manifestation of a serene beauty, an immortal fact of reality that we mortals weave our petty human notions of cities and nations around. Every peak, every valley is a symbol of our pride and our dedication. Yunnan may be of stone, but our hearts are not. We sincerely wanted to benefit the Yi landlords. We believed that this is what in our economic interest, to keep the material wealth of this nation inside the nation, not to carry it over worn-out roads to foreign masters thousands of miles away. For this lofty goal, we were willing to fudge our numbers to artificially double the bid of the Yi landowners, putting them in a lead. But then the Japanese raised their bid. Oh my, did they raise their bid. They didn't double it, they added zeros. We can't resist the kind of money, we can't match it even by fiddling the bucks. We have no choice. But on the plus side, we are going to make so much money, a truly ludicrous amount of money. The economic benefits of selling out our molars is great, but selling out from selling out pays even better. It's vitally important that we realize that this is a benefit for Yunnan. It is far more important that the Yi landowners understand this, and is in their interest too. It isn't, but they live in Yunnan, and Yunnan is going to benefit, so they'll benefit too. A new age of investment and development awaits us, a new deal. Alright, so I'm guessing that means that our investment is gonna be increasing. Look at that, ooh. Alright, after months of tense back and forth, Japan finally won, surprising no one. Our meddling was not gone unnoticed by the world, and we have lost no small amount of political and diplomatic capital as a result. What we have lost, however, we have gained in actual capital. Money flows from Tokyo to Kunming like a golden river, showering us with radiant wealth. Well, it's more of a trickle. Despite promises of backroom dealings, that money wasn't quite what we had thought it would be. Installments, deductibles, compensations. The accountants of Japan are more deadly than their battleships. As much or more wealth flows up the river of Tokyo as it does down to Kunming. The official is gloomy. Even he, who won a spectacular personal fortune in the office pool, seems keen to hide any happiness he may feel. The general sense both among ourselves and the public is that we've completely mismanaged this. We've misstepped and annoyed our neighbors, our people, and even ourselves. We never should have meddled. Well, it's all in the past now. Saibatsu agents fill our bars, spilling out onto the streets. Even while they drink, they earn a fortune every hour and the hatred of hundreds every minute. The most modern machines operated by the most modern engineers tower over our villages as they begin the long, slow march out of Japanese lands. The fields and rivers turn from clear to brown to grey to black. The peasants go from strong to sick to weak to dead. If war is a racket, we've lost. The woe is vanquished. Damn it. Our people are suffering so heavily because of this. But they would have done so as well, so what the hell? I don't think not meddling was the right choice. Though I don't know the event outcomes, but I feel like it wouldn't have been. The bandits and communists which once roamed the land with impunity have largely been put in their place, either dead or having fled to Xinjiang in hopes of employment, but there is one last thorn in the side of Yunnan, one group which insists on raiding the mountain hideout, a hideout which has just been found. The call from Luhan was immediate. Every unit would be marched to the mountain, including those in Guizhou. One more victory for the army, united under Luhan. Alright. Have I got a bit of a reserve in here? No, not at all. What the hell? Not at all. You think I'd have more? Oh well. Let's get some more research. Once in a blue moon. It was a simple plan and we executed it perfectly. A full squad of veterans, disguised as travelers merchants with a heavily laden donkey, were ambushed by bandits of the blue moon in the forests of the western slopes. As they manhandled the merchants and began to investigate the donkeys, we sprung the trap. From the north and the south, 2 pincers emerged, soaking the road in bullets and eviscerating all but one of the bandits. Tragically, we lost half of a dozen of veterans and the donkey, but we attained the exact victory we fought. The bandits we captured had been most useful after a little cunning persuasion. Thanks to our exceptional intelligence gathering, we've been able to repeat the strike almost a dozen times up and down the winding roads of Yunnan. Bandits are cut down, their wretched blood watering the very land they sought to terrorize. As we take out the ambitious pattern emerges, one that draws the eye towards a certain valley nicknamed Serenity by the locals, and a little piece of a peasant irony. The screams of their captives and the laughter of the bandits echoing down the winding mountain passes. As we assemble our forces for the final push, a difficult push to be sure, but a necessary one. Our scouts are finding the blue moon. Bandits are not shrinking as their numbers are killed, caught or driven away, but rather the bandits keep receiving new recruits. Desperate peasants, runaway slaves, and even deserters from our noble and illustrious army. The bandit fort of Serenity grows by the day, but we'll be ready for them. Our men will pour down into single files, tracks, and take them unaware, and crush them while they sleep and indulge themselves. Alright, damn, it's a constant 50-50. We'll see how it goes then. I hope we can deal with them. I do think this is the more democratic path, and I like the thought of it. I don't want to go insane, so let's not evict Xi Jinping. He must retire, a place for he. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we'll do with he. But I do want, you know, to keep the boys safe. 3%, that's actually pretty decent. That's a decent income growth. Oh, speaking of growth, no. 3 years is it gonna take for us to build the first factory? That's insane. A triumph of Serenity! A massacre fell on Serenity Valley this day. The columns of soldiers poured into the camps, scouts going ahead to slit the throats of sentries and silence every would-be alarm. Chaos fell upon the camp under the great blackness of Yunnan night as the soldiers opened fire with machine guns and rows of sleeping thieves. Cages full of captives and Morrison's or more favorite victims were set free, adding to the general confusion. Cooking fires set tents ablaze. Stocks of weapons and booze went up in great pops of thunder, while the flashes of gunfire split the sky like the lightning bolts of an angry but not particularly accurate guard. A young captain earned his commendation in today's papers when he climbed on a bandit horse and rode through a mobs of panicking scum to kill their chief and bring the bright blue moon banner back behind the army lines. By the time we had killed their chieftains, smashed their munitions, and let loose the captives, most of the bandits threw down their weapons and pleaded for mercy. Most of them received it and will atone for the sins with a lifetime in chains, deep underground, laboring to deliver wealth to the land they stole from. Many more received only the bullet and the bayonet. Their heads will adorn the steep sides of the Serenity Valley forever, as a sign of what happens when you challenge the great state of Yunnan. The most wonderful sight was not yet to occur, though, when the soldiers, battered and bloody, and fewer than set out, returned to their billets down the mountainside. A great crowd of peasants came out to cheer them. The gratitude on the faces of every people shone in the morning as the sun as dawn broke over Yunnan. For many people, it was as if it was the first dawn they had ever seen, as heaven and earth seemed once more to be free of evil, if only for a little while. Oh, hell yeah. So you got something wholesome done. For once. But I don't think it's done just yet. As long as this event isn't done, I'm figuring there's gonna be more events for this. But we'll see what happens, right? Yes, finished the unification. Political power gain. Oh, I prefer this one. Close to exploitation. That's pretty good. More consumer goods, but production of... that's a difficult one. The Last Holdout. Artillery. That's the ticket. Shell the blisters. Shell the blighters from half a mile away. Never give them the chance to retaliate. We need never risk another Serenity Valley ever again. There's to be a half-day holiday called today. For ministers and officers only, of course, to celebrate the last holdout of the bandit forts of Yunnan being pummeled into a thin, dusty paste. The great guns never tire, and we never tire of killing the bandits. Posts along our roads allow fast-moving response units to intercept any reports of banditry before they get too far. Road wardens stop and search every shifty-looking merchant and Han peasant they come across. A few private sectors of bodyguards ensures that the great and the good of our landlords are always safe. Slowly but surely, our peasants are learning that obedience serves them better than crime. In one life, you'll be overworked and poor, yet in the other, you will be briefly overworked and poor until you die, if you're lucky. Covering the cost of these new patrols are the proceeds from selling our captives to ye landlords so that they can better serve Yunnan by laboring in fields and mines. Crime doesn't pay criminals, but it certainly pays us. With that in mind, the mines are starting to run empty. It seems that would-be robbers don't want to risk slowly working themselves to death. Either that or all the criminals are already dead or captured. Either way, the evidence is clear. Deterrence just works. It may have cost thousands of lives, but the sun sits high over Yunnan today. Honest and hardworking are her people. Clean and safe are her roads. For the first time since the Second World War, the people of Yunnan feel safe, all thanks to us, the hardworking, brilliant, and ever-humble government of Yunnan. So let's raise a glass to the true heroes of the freedom and liberty. Us. Oh, damn. Someone's humble, indeed. And no longer do we have the bandit holdouts. Look at that. Stability's got on the uptick. Alright. Let's see about uniting with Guizhou. The two brothers. Like brothers, Yunnan and Guizhou have stood together against anarchy, against secession, and like brothers they have come to love each other and cooperate in everything. One army, one China, one spirit. Why not one ruler as well? The unification of our two states is only natural, and as Liu Han puts his sights on his worthy goal, there is no one who can stop him. No, we'll not be enemies. I want to be good boy. If at all possible. Oh. Didn't even notice this. Let's get some more research done. For our factories. Where are our guns going? into our armies? Somehow? There we go. No, not offensive, defensive. Wait, a free Bulgaria? What? Did I read that right? That's our government. He looks like a neckbeard. The Fatherland Front. That's interesting though. We are not enemies. Yes, let's go down that. Oh, 3 units actually instead of 2. Interesting. Alright, we are not enemies. While the unification of our 2 states is inevitable, the process must not be marred with violence, which would betray the friendship between our 2 states. Instead, we shall look into a more peaceful and civilized ways to bring our few opponents to our point of view and work with he rather than against him. We should not succumb to petty squabbles between brethren Chinese people shall no longer fight other Chinese people. And to facilitate the unification of Yunnan and Guizhou, we must sit down and talk rather than take arms and fight. Alright. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm saving up a lot of points. I don't wonder what I will be spending that on. I'm hoping there's going to be some events. Yeah, surely there'll be. And I'll be ready to spend all of my points. All of them. Oh, there's going to be even more points that I'm getting here. Oh, choosing a focus on the right side of the branch will shift the debate towards a more centralized unification. So I'm gonna have to at least take at least 2. So it can be centralized, because I like the thought of being centralized. I don't want puppets. I want actual land under my own under my own ownership. I'm taking this one. He must retire. And then... yeah, this one closed to exploitation and then the united economy. That's probably what I'm gonna go for. Alright, winning friends. Luhan has many friends and he knows just how to keep them. Money. Oh. Looks like the economy of Japan is crashing. Luhan has many friends and he knows just how to keep them. Money. It seems that in his recent relaxation, Yingping has been forgetful of his old friend. A mistake that Lu promises will not be repeated under his supervision. Meeting with industrialists, politicians, and landlords, and even an artist, he has consumed Luhan's time. It would not be impersonal at this time. Interesting. Still have a lot of untapped potential though, that we need to fix up as soon as is humanly possible. King Farouk is dead. We don't really care about this. What's going on over in here though? Nothing much. Actually, America also has a big focus tree, right? Nixon. He is not a crook. Then they got some short focus trees, I guess. Yeah, apparently. Oh well. I still had time to go for this. So let's go for some industry stuff, eh? Let's go for some industry stuff. Waiting over support. In order to unify and integrate Guizhou, we have decided to host a conference in Fuyuan. Is that Yuan or Fuyuan? I don't know. To discuss whether united Yunnan and Guizhou would look like as the makings of the conference finish up. We want to start making preparations of our own. Yingqing has a group of associates with significant influence in Guizhou and Yingqing. God damn it, I keep messing it up. Actually, it might be wrong in the first place anyway. Click it off. We've decided to try and bring them over on our side in order to completely outmaneuver Yingqing in his conference. Doing so has proven to be easy. With a series of bribes and heavy-handed pulling, we've managed to completely win over almost all of Yingqing's most influential friends. Alright. Now let's arrange the conference in the first place. Yeah, let's put him in charge. There we go. We're slowly getting some equipment in here. It's not much. Let's get there. Do you need anything? No, he doesn't really have any traits just yet. Talking may be boring and lengthy process, but no one can doubt that it is at least cheaper than war. Arranging a date and location for the discussion of the future of the Southwest provinces is of course only the first step, but no doubt it will take time to arrange a venue deserving of this momentous occasion. Alright, interesting. But that is pretty much all the time I have left for today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Hopefully I'll see you next time, and hopefully you have a nice day. Bye bye.